that basically I was a normal person. Uh, I, I wasn't some guy hanging out at bars or a bum, or I wasn't a pervert in the sense that, you know, people look at somebody and say, I know there's something wrong with him, and just tell. I mean, I was essentially a normal person. I had good friends. I led a normal life, except for this one small but very potent and very destructive segment of it that I kept very secret and very close to myself and didn't let anybody know about it.
Hello, my name is Timothy Wells. The American public is morbidly fascinated with serial killers. These criminals simultaneously terrify and excite the public's imagination as their acts of murder capture the nation's attention. Some reigns of terror last years, while others little more than a week. Ted Bundy was one of the most charismatic serial killers in the United States. His boyish good looks and silver tongue made him the darling of the media, even though he was killing women by the dozen. He was an all-American boy who attended law school and excelled at skiing. His classmates said that he was well-known and well-liked, and that he was a medium-sized fish in a large pond. After high school, he attended university in Washington, and that's where he met his first girlfriend, Stephanie Brooks. Many people believed their eventual caustic breakup was a turning point for Ted Bundy. He killed for 4 years, from 1974 to 1978, his true kill count most likely higher than anyone could imagine. He lured in his victims using his charming personality and good looks. His classic act was to pretend to be injured and appear to be burdened with moving some kind of heavy object, like a textbook or some luggage. He would draw in women and ask them to carry his stuff to his car. While the target's arms were full of heavy objects, Ted Bundy easily knocked them out and stuffed them in the car. He would later rape them, kill them, and dispose the body in a place so few people could find it. After a series of murders in Washington and Utah, Ted Bundy was captured in Salt Lake City. He was pulled over for a routine traffic stop, and the officer who pulled him over searched his car. In his car, the officer found a ski mask, a second mask fashioned from pantyhose, a crowbar, handcuffs, trash bags, a coil of rope, an ice pick, and other items initially assumed to be burglary tools. He was arrested and later sent to jail. In all his years of killing, he was only caught twice. The first time he was jailed, but he planned to break out. During an interview while he was in prison, he said, "I have dreamed about flying over those fences. I have dreamed about climbing over those fences and tunneling under those fences." He broke out for the first time by jumping out of the courthouse library. After spraining his ankle, he was soon found and put back into jail. In prison once again, he devised a more elaborate escape plan, which he managed to pull off. During a holiday at the prison, he managed to escape the prison by crawling through the vents. After he broke out, he hid for almost 2 weeks before killing again. On December 12th, he broke into a sorority house where he assaulted 4 girls. He killed the first 2 and left the other 2 with severe injuries. After attacking the girls, he left the house and attacked another student, Cheryl Thomas, and left her with injuries that affected her for the rest of her life. Can you describe the events that transpired that fateful night?
Um, it was an early morning on Sunday, January 15th, I believe. My boyfriend and I had just finished our date, and he was dropping me off at the sorority, Chi Omega, and we arrived around 3 a.m. I said goodbye, and that's when I saw him leave. He was holding something that looked like a club. That's when I knew something was up.
Ted Bundy denied the murders that he was accused of for a long time, but shortly before his execution, he confessed to 30 murders that took place in 7 states, ranging from Florida to Washington. Even though the true murder count is unknown, there is one common factor that links all of his victims together. All his victims were young, attractive college-age students that typically had long, parted black hair. The physical features matched those of his first girlfriend, Stephanie Brooks, which caused a lot of people to theorize that her rejection of Bundy led to Bundy's unique choice of victims. However, Ted Bundy denied this theory claiming that the beauty and young age of the victims were all that mattered. On January 24th, 1989, at 7:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Ted Bundy was executed by electric chair. He was 42 years old.
Hi, my name is Rachel Stevenson. While Ted Bundy killed countless women and evaded authorities for 4 years, Christopher Dorner only killed a handful of cops and was cornered after 9 days. This former cop was on the warpath because of his belief that the LAPD was racist towards him. He displayed his vendetta for all to see while gunning down his victims with military-grade equipment. Christopher Dorner was a former LAPD officer who went on a 9-day rampage that claimed the lives of multiple people. His short spree of killings instilled terror and paranoia throughout Los Angeles, and especially among the policemen. Christopher Dorner was out on a vendetta and was killing off the police officers due to a perceived sight that was based on his race. His military-grade equipment and specialized training set him apart from other killers by giving the police an enemy they've never faced before. His first victims were the daughter of the police chief and her fiancé. The next targets were a pair of cops. While they were in their patrol car, Christopher Dorner ambushed them, emptying an array of bullets into the car. One of the cops died from his wounds, and the other was critically wounded but left for dead.
After you cornered Mr. Dorner, what events transpired?
After we confronted Mr. Dorner, he fled on foot to a cabin up the mountain. There he opened fire on us and we fought back. 2 of our officers were shot, 1 was killed, and the other was critically wounded.
How did the manhunt for Christopher Dorner conclude?
After we confronted him at the cabin, we threw in tear gas, which ignited some of the ammo within the cabin that set off a fire, and in that fire, Christopher Dorner shot himself. And that was the end of the manhunt for Christopher Dorner.
Less than an hour later, residents report the sound of gunfire at a nearby cabin. As local news choppers hover overhead, SWAT teams surround Dorner and begin firing. The melee broadcast live on KCBS.
The shots you're hearing are all from guns and weapons that are being fired by law enforcement officers.
Shortly before 5, reports of a SWAT team approaching the fire in an armored vehicle and injecting gas into the cabin before reportedly peeling back the walls of that cabin like an onion.
Unlike Ted Bundy, Christopher Dorner was fueled by anger. This led him to be more irrational and hot-blooded, which led to a short killing spree. Unlike Ted Bundy, Christopher Dorner took a lot of steps that unnecessarily exposed him, such as posting a kill list or disposing of his unordinary military-grade equipment where it could easily be found. These errors helped the LAPD discern that Dorner was the killer and where he was going to strike next. This is what differentiates him from the cold-blooded Ted Bundy.
Christopher Dorner and Ted Bundy were similar in many ways, but equally different. Ted Bundy's spree lasted for years, while Dorner's spree lasted a little more than a week. Bundy targeted women, and Dorner targeted cops and their families. Ted Bundy killed for lust, while Dorner killed for rage.
Both were crazy in some sense of the word. While Ted Bundy let little emotion get in the way of his killings, Dorner's killing spree was completely dictated by his emotions.
But even for their differences, both men appeared to be normal. People that met these killers sometimes only saw their normal side. They would describe Dorner or Bundy as friendly, outgoing, even affable. As Bundy said, serial killers are everyday people. They are neighbors, family members, and friends.
It is impossible to tell who is a serial killer
Before it is too late.